Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So we are already over 10 days into the month and I have only read one book and it wasn't even a book from my TBR. So I thought what we could do is a little 24-hour readathon and I will just try to read as much as I can. So I do have a couple books that I know I want to read. The first one is Dragon Unleashed by Grace Draven. This is the companion to Phoenix Unbound. It takes place in that same world and it is a fantasy romance. Then I also would like to read Burn Our Bodies Down by Rory Power. This is a YA mystery. And then after that, I don't really know, depending on timing, if I finish both of these books. I have a bag back there, you can see. I just did a whole historical romance book haul with like over 20 historical romances. So what I might do is just like randomly select something out of that bag and read it because I'm really in a historical romance type of mood. But I'll only do that if I'm able to finish these two books. So it's currently 4 p.m. So I will read from now until tomorrow at 4 p.m. although I probably will go to sleep tonight, but I'm just gonna do the best I can to read as much as I can over the next 24 hours. So I think the book I'm gonna start with is Burn Our Bodies Down by Rory Power. I have this on my Kindle. So all I know about this is that it is a mystery about a girl whose mother has kept a lot of their past a secret. She doesn't know of any other family members. She doesn't know where her mom comes from. And then I think she finds something that like leads her to the town where her mom grew up in, and she finds out all of these like dark secrets. But yeah, I loved Wilder Girls by Rory Power, which was her debut that came out last year. I mean, I loved it so much, but it was definitely a polarizing book. I feel like it was one of those books that people either loved or they hated. So I'm very interested to see if I like this book. I have a feeling that I will because I just really like Rory Power. I follow her like on Twitter and Instagram, and I feel like her whole aesthetic and like vibe I just really connect with. So I'm gonna start reading this and then I'll check in a couple hours. Okay, so I read for an hour and I am 33% into it. I'm loving this so far. It's definitely like very, how do I say this? It has like very similar vibes to Wilder Girls, but it's completely different. Like characters, setting, plot, all of that is different. It has the same writing style. I don't really know how to describe her writing style. It's just very different. It's very like, I don't want to say stream of conscious, but like it has its own sort of rhythm, and I really like that. So it has that same type of unique writing style. And same with Wilder Girls, there are so many questions that I already have, and I'm like trying to figure things out. I don't know, I feel like there's so many different directions that this could go in. Basically, like I said, the main character, her mother has been keeping a lot of secrets from her. They have a very emotionally abusive relationship. It's very toxic, and she finds this old photograph. On the back has a phone number, so she calls the phone number and it turns out that it's her grandmother, and she decides to run away to her grandma's house. And so she goes to this little town that her grandma's from. It's like a farming town. She finds out that her grandmother owns this whole farm with corn, but something went bad at the farm, and so the corn is like rotten, or like it grows wrong. So the farm is like failing. And like right when she gets there, she finds out that there's a fire that was set on the farm and it's currently like blazing. So she goes to the fire to see like what's going on. And when she gets there, she sees a person in like the cornfield where the fire is going on. So she goes in to save the person. When she drags her out, the girl is dead and she looks exactly like her. She sees this dead girl who looks exactly like her, and she's like, who is this? Where did you come from? And now she has all these questions that she needs to get answered. I have some theories, but I don't know. I feel like I said, there's so many different directions that this could go in, but I'm really enjoying it so far. It definitely is kind of giving me vibes of a couple different horror movies that I've seen, and like, I don't know, something about like small farm towns really creep me out. It might have to do with the fact that like I grew up in Texas, like around farm towns, and there's just a creepy energy that I've always felt coming from them. So yeah, I'm gonna keep reading. I feel like I could finish this very quickly because like I said, I've only been reading for an hour and I'm already like a third of the way through. It is flying by. Okay, so I finished Burn Our Bodies Down and I pretty much have been reading it nonstop. Like I was planning on filming a couple more updates, but like I just didn't want to put it down. I ended up giving this 5 stars. I think I might have liked it more than Wilder Girls. I don't know, I'm gonna have to sit on that, but it was so good. I definitely feel like it is gonna have a similar effect as Wilder Girls in terms of like you're either really gonna like it or it's just not gonna work for you, but it worked for me. Yeah, I mean like I just could not put it down. It was so weird. Like some of the things that happened were so weird. I'm like, how did Rory Power even think of that? Why did she even think of it? Ma'am. And yeah, I definitely feel like it's gonna be a favorite of the year. I feel like the longer, like the more that I think about it, the more I'm gonna like it, which was the same thing that happened with Wilder Girls. Because when I finished that book, I really liked it, but I didn't love it. And then the longer that I sat with it and thought about it, the more it just became a favorite. I also want to say that it is sapphic. The main character is a lesbian, but there's no romance in it. There is like a little bit of tension with her and another character, but there's no romance. Set expectations before you go into it, knowing that it's not like a female-female romance. But that's fine. You know, we love sapphic representation that's not solely based on romance. Love to see it. So now I feel like I don't want to start Dragon Unleashed until tomorrow. So I think what I might do is pick out a book from this bag of historical romances. Can you see what's in here? I just posted a book haul with all of these books. So if you want to see everything that's in here, I will link that video up above. But I'm just gonna shake it up and like pick one out and read that tonight. Because historical romances I usually can read in a couple hours. They go by very quick for me. Let me just mix these around. I've never done this before. I've never like picked a book out of a bag to read. This is a first. I'm gonna do this one. Ooh, okay. So I picked The Rogue of Fifth Avenue by Joanna Shupe. Exciting because on that video, a lot of people commented that they really loved this. So the girl is like an elite member of New York society, but she's also kind of like a Robin Hood type of character who like steals from the rich and gives it to the poor. And then the guy is her father's lawyer and he's always like having to bail her out of trouble. Very excited. I'm gonna start this right now, and I've never read anything by this author, so hopefully I can now find a new historical romance author that I really like. I just wanted to pop in here and let you guys know the sponsor for today's video is Skillshare. Skillshare offers creative classes designed for real life and all the circumstances that come with it. These lessons can help you stay inspired, express yourself, and introduce you to a community of millions. And it is less than $10 a month with an annual subscription. So all of the books that I was reading for this video have beautiful covers. Specifically this one, I'm obsessed with this cover. And Skillshare actually has classes for book cover design. There is a class that I took called Design for Meaning, Creating Effective and Artistic Book Cover Designs that is done by Peter Mendelusen. He is the art director of Pantheon Books and he has tons of very widely known book covers. And his whole class goes through the process of creating a book cover design that conveys the author's vision and sells the book. So I will link that class down below, as well as Skillshare has offered me a link for the first 1,000 people who click it will get a 2-month free trial to the premium membership. Okay, I'm really enjoying this, but I wanted to show you guys. I am totally picturing the guy in this as Matthew Good. Like, come on, tell me that that does not look like him. I don't know, I see it. And I also feel like this is from Death Comes to Pemberley. Like, is that not them? That's totally who I'm picturing. And it's just making it so much more enjoyable because I love Matthew Good. So oh, this is like the most unflattering lighting ever. Love that. So I finished The Rogue of Fifth Avenue and I loved it. Oh my God, I think I'm gonna give it 5 stars. It was So good. Like I said, the main character was kind of like a Robin Hood type of person, and she would rob her like wealthy friends and then give them money to poor women in like domestic abuse situations or who were like trying to take care of their kids. And she's always had run-ins with her father's lawyer because he's always like catching her doing illegal stuff. And they have like an intense back and forth banter. And then one of the women who she gives money to ends up in a really intense domestic violence situation where her husband is attacking her and she defends herself and ends up killing him. So now she's being tried as a murderer and she might get the death penalty. So the main character asks the lawyer to help get her friend acquitted. And there was also this kind of like whole plot where she is engaged to this guy who she has known her whole life, but she doesn't want to get married to him, but her father is like really forcing it. She's like really attracted to the lawyer and she wants to have a lot of fun before she gets married. So she tries to seduce him, which I loved because I feel like most of the time in historical romances, it's the guy trying to seduce the girl, but I really liked how in this it was the other way around. And she was just like really confident and bold and like went after what she wanted. And yeah, like the banter was so good between them. And like I'm just very excited now to read more books in this series. I don't know if any more are out yet. I hope that they are because the main character had some sisters and one of their sisters seemed so interesting. So I'm hoping if there's a sequel already out that it's about her. But I also am just excited to read this author's backlist now because the writing was so good and the banter. I feel like there's a couple things when it comes to historical romances that I look for. And the number one thing is banter. Like I just want the characters to have so much banter. So yeah, I'm gonna try to get some sleep now and then wake up early in the morning so that I can start Dragon Unleashed. But so far, this 24-hour readathon is going really well. Hey guys. Hey, how's it going? Aww. A bunch of people have asked me how Frankie is doing. She is doing so great. She's made so much progress. It's so cool to see her opening up and like her personality. Well, hello. Did you feel left out? So I'm a little over 50 pages into Dragon Unleashed and I am enjoying it so far. It definitely has like a different vibe than Phoenix Unbound. Like Phoenix Unbound, it was like enemies to lovers. It was like a almost kidnapping situation, or it was a kidnapping situation. And then this one is more like they're not enemies. So it's just a different vibe. But yeah, it follows Helani, who we met in Phoenix Unbound. She is a healer and she has some sort of connection to Earth magic that I'm not really sure why yet. It's kind of a mystery. And then the guy, his name is Malicus, and he is a Draga, which is basically this like mystical dragon. Everyone thinks that they are like a myth or extinct, but they're actually still around, but they're in hiding and disguising themselves as humans. He is running out of time. There is this magical object that is what is protecting him and keeping him alive, but someone stole it, and so he is trying to find it. And the main character, Halani, works as a free trader, and her uncle buys the object that the Draga is looking for. So that's kind of like how they cross paths. And then there's also another point of view, a hunter, because the Empress, who was the villain in the first book, she was gravely injured at the end of the first book, and she believes that the blood of a Draga will heal her. So she sends a hunter to hunt him down because she's heard like rumors that there is a Draga around. And yeah, I'm really liking it. Also, Jeline and Azarian, who were the main couple from the first book, they are in this as well. I don't know if they're going to be in the rest of the book, but so far they're in it because this starts right where Phoenix Unbound ended. And so we kind of get to see them as well, like actually being a couple, which I like. And I just really like this whole group of free traders that Halani is with. I really liked them in the first book, and so I'm glad that this whole book is more about them because they're just like such a cool and weird group. And I really like the relationship between Halani and her mother. Her mother has some sort of like, I don't know if it's like a mental disability or something, but Halani is more like a parent to her mother. She like really has to take care of her, and so they have a really interesting dynamic. I think I'm gonna go make something to eat and read a little bit more. Okay, so I have like 50 pages left. I am flying through this like I do with all of Grace Draven's books. They go by so quickly for me because I just cannot put them down. But I had to come on here because I was just looking up Goodreads reviews for this, and I read one, and somebody called this a romantasy, and I think my mind is blown. How have I never heard of that phrase before? Romance, fantasy, romantasy. You guys, whoever came up with that, genius. I love you. Impeccable. Amazing. That is what I'm gonna call it forever now. Oh my god, that just explains, I think, my favorite genre. How have I never heard that phrase before? Romantasy. Yo, we're really on to something here. So I finished Dragon Unleashed and I really liked this. I definitely feel like this was more in the vein of Radiance than Phoenix Unbound, because in Phoenix Unbound, I feel like that book was very plot driven and like it had a very action-packed and intense plot. This one was more like slower paced, more about like character dynamics. The main like part, or the main storyline of this book was that Malicus, the Draga, was attacked and almost left for dead, and Halani, the healer, finds him and saves him and like nurses him back to health. But that's like the whole book. That part, her nursing him back to health, is like the whole plot almost, which I personally really enjoyed, because a trope that I just love so much in romances is when one character gets sick or it gets injured and the other character has to take care of them. I love that. And so having almost an entire book based off of that trope, loved it. I will say though, I don't think I loved this necessarily as much as Grace Draven's other books that I've read, so I did end up giving this 4 stars, but I'm just feeling like she can do no wrong. Her writing is amazing. I read all of her books in like one sitting because I just cannot put them down. I love it. Okay, so I'm editing this video right now and I realized I never filmed an outro because after the last clip that you watched, I immediately got into bed and went to sleep for about 14 hours. So clearly I should stop doing 24-hour readathons because I'm too old. I can't handle it. I get too tired. It was, despite being extremely tired and pretty much falling into a coma, I loved every single book I read. 2 of them were 5 stars. 1 of them was a 4-star. So in my eyes, it was very successful. So yeah, I hope you guys liked this video, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!